Welcome back to the Million Dollar Events Podcast. This is the place for retreat and conference leaders to get better at hosting retreats and events, connect with other event leaders, and honestly, just learn to deliver deeper transformations and have your events stand out in a crowded marketplace. So grab your favorite kombucha, journal, and a pen, and let's dive into today's episode. Today, I want to talk to you about whether or not you should include your retreat in a membership or to sell a retreat without selling a retreat or a no sales sale. I see so many people hosting and planning retreats that it is starting to be a little saturated with every coach and their mom hosting their own retreat. And I think people think that it'll be really easy to sell out a retreat until everyone does it. The more people who host retreats, the more retreat options there are, the faster it'll be to not sell out. And I say this with the most love possible, but it's to the point where while I don't think that people have competition, I do think the more retreats there are, the more options there are, the harder it is going to be to capture someone's attention randomly on the internet and have them just join your retreat because you're hosting. Gone are those days because post-COVID, not a lot of people were hosting retreats. So the people who were, it was a lot easier to just find someone hosting a retreat and book the retreat experience than it is now. In today's online landscape, most entrepreneurs have multiple mentors, and it's not special to host a retreat anymore. It's not special to have a slumber party vibe. You have to stand out in this marketplace. So one of the ways that you can sell a retreat without selling a retreat is using masterminds and memberships. So you're essentially selling a long-term or longer-term high-ticket solution that includes a mastermind or a membership. That way, you can sell a high-ticket item without being worried about overselling or not selling out your retreat itself. Sometimes coaches aren't successful at doing this. I think it's important to note here that either way you sell, whether it's a standalone retreat offer or a mastermind offer, it's still selling and you're still selling a high ticket item. If it feels better to you to just sell a retreat, then just sell a retreat. If it feels better to you to include a retreat in an overarching, way bigger vision with a mastermind, and a retreat is a through line or to drive home a transformation that the bigger mastermind delivers, then sell that. At the end of the day, you have to be so convicted that this offer is exactly what your clients need. Because a few things are still true, whether you're selling a retreat or selling a mastermind. If people don't know about it, it doesn't matter. It's if a tree falls in a forest, does anybody hear it? I don't know. But if no one knows about your retreat, no one knows you exist, then you can have the best mastermind, the best retreat, and it won't matter because no one will know to buy it. Secondly, if you're not super convicted in the offer, your energy is going to turn people away. So you have to know deep down that this is literally your thing, that you're going to be selling for the next 6 to 8 months. Granted, some coaches can sell faster than that, but I'm trying to be super realistic with you guys. Now that we've covered should you or should you not include your retreat in a membership, I want to talk a little bit about pricing and budget and kind of what it looks like if you were to include your retreat inside of a higher coaching package like a mastermind. When you're pricing your mastermind, you still have to go through all the basics of preparing and the logistics in a high-level budget because you need to know what the retreat is going to cost you. Because if you price the mastermind too low, then it might not cover the retreat expenses. And then you are paying yourself for your time of the mastermind component. And you are an excellent coach and you should get paid for your time, energy, and effort to deliver this transformation. The retreat is the cherry on top, not necessarily the transformation itself. So when you're looking at the pricing strategy for your mastermind, realize that you're looking at an $8,000 to $12,000 ticket. If that amount makes you nervous, you got some inner work to do. Why does that make you nervous? Why do you not feel like you're worthy of charging that high of an amount? Why? Start with the bigger picture of what's the transformation that you're going to be delivering during this mastermind. At what point does it make sense to go on the retreat, whether that's in the beginning or at the end or in the middle? It needs to fit in with the overall transformation, the through line of the coaching that you're delivering. And that's the strategy of telling a story, of taking your clients on a journey to their better self or their highest self with working with you. Once you figure out where that is in your story and your transformation, start to prepare the logistics, not just for the dream ideal attendee, but also the dream mastermind attendee. They should be the same with this offer. Now, these two things I talk about in Retreats on Repeat Academy. Retreats on Repeat Academy, it is a hybrid program where you have both pre-recorded videos, but also group support calls and one-on-one access via Telegram to me, plus all of my calculators, templates, and spreadsheets, all the things that I use to plan my clients' $100,000 retreat. That being said, if you're interested in joining, go ahead and pop over to Instagram, DRORA, and we'll shoot you a little link over so you can check it out. So while we're building out the experience, you need to include the retreat expense inside of your mastermind. So if you were to have these two separate offers, your mastermind's probably $2,500, $3,500, could be $5,500, $15,000, whatever that feels good for you. And then you're going to add the expenses of the retreat on top of the cost that you're going to deliver this close proximity mastermind. Most retreats cost somewhere close to $4,000 per person to host. That's without profit. That's including taxes. Somewhere close to that for a 4 to 5 day experience. Using the budget tracker and the pricing calculator in Retreats on Repeat Academy will absolutely get you the numbers that you need to figure this out. After you figured out how much it costs, that's when you're going to start building out the assets, the landing pages, the email onboarding sequences, the email marketing sequences, and you're going to have a full-blown launch. I still recommend selling this in a way that feels good to you. If you are a course girly and you have a proven system where people buy, then go with that method. If this is the first mastermind, I always recommend reaching out to your current and past clients first, maybe even offering them a little discount because they're a repeat, and then offering it to your email list, and then offering it to your social media. I want you to be super realistic about the amount of people that you need in the door and that you want in the door. How much energy and space do you want to hold through this mastermind experience, whether it's 8 weeks, 6 months, or a year? Are you ready for that kind of commitment in your business? That energy has to stay up through that duration of the program after you've done the brunt work of all of this. Now, some people find it easier to sell a mastermind than it is to sell a retreat. So they're super confident when they're selling this higher ticket item because they already know what works to get people into their group programs. Essentially, a retreat is just another group program. So if that helps you guys, if you don't want to sell a mastermind, but you still want to sell a retreat, think of it like another group program. Now, I do want to mention, I've had one client that initially hired a travel agent to plan a retreat at an all-inclusive. She wanted to sell it as a standalone, and then halfway in the middle of her launch, she decided to change it to a group program because she thought it would be easier to sell. And I'm telling you right now, she did not sell one single person into this experience. There's a few reasons why this happened. The first reason I want to note is that she wasn't convicted in the vehicle that she was delivering. Is it a retreat? Is it a mastermind? Is it a group program? She didn't know, and therefore people didn't know why they needed to be there or why to join. Now, I commend people for changing their mind and trying new things, but go through a full launch cycle before you decide to change it up. Second client, she knew from the start that she wanted this to be a mastermind offer. I do think she had a little influence from her friends, but that's what she wanted to do. And she was not used to selling group programs. This would have been her first group program. It was an 8 week mastermind, and with the retreat, which would have been about halfway through, we put together the transformation over the duration of the mastermind itself. And then she's been selling this program for a few months now. She's had a few people interested, but they're really only interested in the retreat. And at one of our check-in calls about a month ago, she looked at me and said, I would have been better off just selling the dang retreat and not this entire mastermind experience. And I looked at her and I said, it's really dependent on you as a coach, as a leader. You have to be convicted in what you're selling. Some people find it easier to sell if you include it in a mastermind, and some people don't. It's just up to you. So there's always an opportunity to change your mind, but I would stick with the larger marketing as a mastermind program. And if someone slides into your DMs asking for just the retreat, be ready to send them that link. Because at this point, we're not halfway sold out and we're coming up on cancellation deadlines. And we need to decide if we are going to continue. A third story is another coach that I work with sold a $25,000 mastermind that included a retreat in the offer. While it did include a retreat, that wasn't the selling point. The selling point was proximity to this coach and to their audience. So when you're selling your membership, your mastermind that includes a retreat, don't necessarily center the retreat as the focal point, because it might not be. There's other powers that will sell out a high ticket experience. That does not necessarily mean it's the retreat that's going to sell it for you. The retreat is a cherry on top of the bigger transformation. If you found this valuable, I'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and take a screenshot. Tag me on Instagram, Retreats with Jamie J. And then let me know what you found the most insightful about how to sell a retreat that's included in a mastermind. See you on the next one.